It was April 9th, 2025, when the YouTube channel Man Dog Wild released a new video. At first glance, it appeared to be just another of his regular outdoor adventures, an evening hike through the mountains with his loyal companion Yeti. The landscape was calm and breathtaking. Locals refer to this area as the Skinwalker Mountains, a region surrounded by eerie folklore, strange sightings, and countless stories of unexplained activity. The hike began peacefully, the air cool and clean as daylight faded. Yeti ran along the trail with her usual enthusiasm, but then her behavior suddenly changed. She slowed down, stopped, and stayed unusually close, as if guiding her owner towards something unseen.
Yeti is either one of two things.
She's a very simple dog. She's either completely unstable and constant zoomies, or she's very serious. And right now she's slowed down and she'll stop and she'll want me to follow her to take me somewhere or show me something.
And at this point, now she's not going to stray too far from me because now she wants to show me something.
We've just been out here exploring, as we usually do around this time, a little earlier than this. It's getting a bit dark now. And we've been on one of these abandoned roads that go to nowhere. They've just been left. Walking these dirt roads, and Yeti comes across this little trail. She's slowed down and she wants to show me. See, she's right there. She's not running. She's not got the zoomies as she normally does. She's staying close by. She's scenting something.
Their route veered away from the main trail and onto a narrow, overgrown path that felt untouched for decades. The deeper they went, the heavier the silence grew. Then, hidden beneath the trees, they stumbled upon something disturbingly out of place.
Yeti was checking out this stuff. It looks like a... no idea. Wow. That's just scary, huh? Waiting.
In the middle of the path sat a small stroller half buried in weeds and soil. Inside was a doll, its face worn and cracked almost lifelike in the dim, fading light. The placement seemed deliberate. They were miles from homes, roads, or campsites. Whoever carried it here had done so on purpose. Nearby, carved deep into a large rock, was something even more unsettling.
Well, at least we're out at that plantation now. What's that? This sister. It's creepy, huh? What is that? So, this is where she leads us? That's super strange, huh? It's like burnt into the rock. So obviously these mountains are strange places. Someone's come out here and made this. They've made this and I don't know what to make of this. What's your guys' thoughts on this? I have no idea. Maybe it's some kind of worshipping thing. Maybe it's just a sign. Maybe hunters kind of marker. I don't know.
A dark, scorched symbol. It looked ritualistic, as though it had been burned into the stone by fire. Its meaning was impossible to understand, but its precision hinted at purpose. Was it a warning, a ritual sign, or something far more sinister? As they turned to leave, faint movement caught his attention on a distant ridge.
I'm not going the way of the plantation. That's just way too thick, so I'm figuring I'm gonna go around. I definitely saw lights. Caught the video also. I took a look. And I don't know, obviously maybe we kind of did the same thing and we all turned our lights off and moved away. But when I turned around, I couldn't see the lights anymore. And yeah, they probably couldn't see mine. But the strange thing was, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the sound. It's a really high kind of pitched sound frequency, whatever. I think they call it mosquito or something. And they use it to move people away from places they don't want them hanging out. So when I stopped, it had this ringing in my ears. It's horrible, really high pitched.
Small lights flickered briefly, shifting before vanishing when he switched off his flashlight. Seconds later, a piercing, high-pitched noise cut through the air, mechanical sharp and without any clear source. The sound resembled urban deterrent frequencies meant to drive people away. Yet out here, deep in untouched wilderness, it felt more like a warning meant for them. Throughout it all, Yeti remained strangely calm. The dog, normally alert to every sound, didn't bark or move. That stillness was somehow more disturbing than the noise itself. Taking a longer way back, he avoided retracing the same path. The lights didn't return. The ringing faded, and the symbol stayed unexplained. Some believe the stroller and symbol were signs of ritual activity hidden deep in the forest to avoid discovery. Others think the sound came from devices designed to scare trespassers. Together, the object's markings and sounds form something too deliberate to dismiss, as if someone wanted to create fear. Was it coincidence or evidence of something organized within the Skinwalker Mountains? And perhaps the most chilling question, did Yeti stay calm because she already knew exactly what was out there? Van life can feel freeing until the moment it turns terrifying. Dee had spent years living on the road in her self-built van, which she lovingly named Ladybug Out. But in October 2021, she uploaded a video describing the most frightening experience she had ever faced while traveling.
This is gonna be an awesome night. I'm here for a couple nights, heading up north again. It's cooler by the lake here. I'm in Oklahoma, and just wanted to show you guys what I get to enjoy for the next couple days.
It started like any normal day. She parked her van in Oklahoma, went for a short hike, and enjoyed the crisp open air. When she returned, the weather had shifted. The wind picked up, whistling through the trees as darkness crept in.
Out here, it's crazy windy. It said that the wind would pick up. It'll be a nice sleeping weather. I love when the wind is howling a little bit through the trees. Such a beautiful, beautiful sound. So while the wind is howling outside, I am snug as a bug in a rug in my little cabin on wheels. There's another camper right over there. It's a tent. They came in today. Can't believe that they are camping in this weather in a tent. I'm surprised that their tent is still up. Actually, I don't know if it's still up.
Other campers began setting up their tents despite the conditions, But Dee chose the safety of her van, unaware of the chaos about to unfold. Hours later, the calm night was broken by loud sirens. Her phone flashed with an emergency alert. A tornado warning had just been issued.
There's a tornado warning. So there was a severe thunderstorm warning, tornado warning issued just a minute ago. And so I am not sure what to do in this situation, actually. I thought that somebody would come around. The tent campers hightailed it out of here in the motorcycle, and so I am just going to go to a spot that I'm not so open because I'm very much in the open.
Disoriented and half asleep, she realized her van was parked out in the open with no real protection. Lightning split the sky as she jumped into the driver's seat, desperately searching for somewhere safe.
Here's the bathroom shelter. That might be my best bet if there is any more severe weather. So I am back here in the back. It's just raining lightly now. I drove over to where there's a concrete bathroom shelter in case sirens go off again. It's the only place that I saw that was remotely a shelter, but it seems like the worst of it has blown over, and so I feel like I'm safe. I'm just going to remain alert and awake tonight, check the weather every so often, but it seems like the front moves by pretty quickly. That's always the part where the tornadoes form, between where the cold and the warmer air is, right at the front, and that was when the sirens went off. I looked at the radar and it was right over us. So I think it was just to alert us that there could be possible tornadoes and to watch for them and to be awake. So this is something that I thought I'd show because I have talked about other situations of preparedness, and weather preparedness is something that I haven't covered, mainly because I try to stay out of weather like this. And I did. I checked the radar and it said that this front wasn't moving in until much later today. It's about 2:30 in the morning right now, and the weather alert was issued at 1 a.m., 12:55 or something like that. And yeah, that is something I was not counting on.
She drove until she found a solid structure, a concrete restroom building, and decided it was her best chance. There she waited in the darkness, watching the radar on her phone as the storm raged overhead. Rain hammered, the roof winds howled, and the threat of a tornado grew closer. Though the system eventually passed without hitting her directly, the experience left her shaken. Out on the road, shielded only by thin metal walls, nature's power can make anyone feel small. Later, Dee reflected that storms like the one she encountered often spawn tornadoes where warm and cold fronts collide. The sudden shift in weather that night likely created those exact conditions, catching her off guard even after checking the forecast earlier that day. For people who live full-time on the road, safety often depends on how prepared they are for the unpredictable. But here's the chilling thought. What if the tornado hadn't veered away? What if it had touched down right where she parked? Would she have had enough time to escape, or would her story have ended differently? Ramble Soul is best known for calm, minimalist outdoor journeys, peaceful camping trips, still lakeside mornings, and quiet evenings beside the fire. Their videos usually offer a sense of retreat and escape from the rush of daily life into the serenity of nature. But on this particular night, peace was nowhere to be found. From the very beginning, something felt off. As they arrived at their chosen lakeside spot, the wind was already howling hard enough to make even setting up camp nearly impossible.
Beni sürüklüyor. Allah Allah. Ya çakamıyorum da. Neresi önü neresi arkası onu da bilemiyoruz ki. Ay! Başımıza bela ya bu.
Şimdi şurası PVC.
Mecbur çakacağım şimdi bir iki tane.
Tamam.
The terrain was open and uneven, every attempt to raise the tent ending in chaos. Poles were ripped from their grip stakes, refused to stay anchored, and the tent fabric snapped violently in the gusts. At one point, the entire shelter almost lifted from the ground.
Hayır!
Of ya! Nasıl yapacağız biz ya?
Hop hop hop!
Paraşüt gibi oldu bu.
Ha.
Aa! Aa!
Geldim. Tamam, gel. Yuh! Evet. Evet oluyor.
Ay!
Böyle. Çekemiyor musun?
Çekemiyorum.
Evet. Bas. Bas kuzu. Altına bas. Allah Allah. Ah! Bu ne lan?
Threatening to fly straight into the lake. Even after hours of work, their small victory didn't last. Rain came without warning, driving down in sheets that soaked everything before they could react. Matt's sleeping bags and flooring were instantly drenched. The harder they fought to secure the setup, the more the storm tore it apart. What had been meant as a cozy lakeside camp quickly turned into a desperate battle to stay dry and safe. Earlier drone footage had captured the lake's beauty, calm water, golden light reflections of the tree line, but by nightfall the scene was unrecognizable. Supplies were scattered across the flooded ground, food ruined, and the little cover they had left sagged beneath the unrelenting wind. Inside the shelter, water leaked from every seam, pooling beneath their sleeping gear. It became obvious that staying wasn't just miserable, it was dangerous. With no other choice, they packed what little remained dry, tore everything down in the pouring rain, and retreated to the car. Exhausted, soaked, and defeated, they sat in silence as the storm raged on outside the dream of a peaceful night by the lake completely washed away. What makes this video stand out isn't any supernatural event or strange sound in the forest. It's the raw power of nature itself. Weather is the most unpredictable force in outdoor life. Within minutes, it can turn a planned escape into a true survival test. Watching the footage, you can't help but wonder, was it just an unlucky storm? Or nature's way of reminding us who's really in control? May 7, 2025. Hidden deep within the pine forests of Bear Lake, Itasca County, northern Minnesota. Kenny and his dog Toby guide their camper into a quiet, secluded clearing. His channel, Kenny of All Trades, has always focused on simplicity, RV life, camping through rough weather, and learning how to stay self-reliant in places most people only pass by. But even here, surrounded by glassy water and endless trees, something uneasy stirs beneath the peace. Kenny isn't sure whether he winterized the camper before the freeze. A single wrong valve could mean a burst pipe, a flooded floor, or an entire trip ruined.
I can't remember if I winterized this camper last fall or not. I may have just opened up the low water drains like a month before freeze up, and we just rode with it all winter long. We're gonna find out today. I'm gonna show you where Toby and I brought you as soon as we get the water going. This is the part that makes me nervous. The pump is running. I don't hear anything. Look under the cupboards. Well, nothing's leaking under here. That's a good sign. Those connections look good and dry. And we're still dry in here too. Good deal. Pump just shut off. I totally dodged a bullet on this one. Let's see if it works. It's getting there. The strange thing is the water pump is not kicking on, and we're running low on pressure. Let's see what happens in the bathroom. Good pressure there. Let's try this one more time. It's a little bit better. There we go. And the trap is dry. All right, let's get to it. Welcome to this week's video.
He flips the pump switch. A low hum cuts through the silence, then stops. Nothing. The quiet returns. No leaks. No problem for now. As morning fades into afternoon, Kenny and Toby explore the area. He studies the county's posted rules.
This spot is maintained by the county, and they do have a couple of rules here, but I think that the rules actually make for a lot more enjoyable experience, and they're simple to follow. No reservations. It's first come, first serve. No more than one group here. And then it's limited to no more than 10 people. They designed the sites for just 2 sleeping units, so you can only have 2 campers up here. The last rule I see get broken often, and it's just that they don't want you to be blocking the boat landing with possible that someone's going to come in here, still try and land a boat.
No reservations, 1 group per site, 2 campers maximum, and always keep the boat ramp clear. They spend hours cleaning rusted cans, glass bottles, and even an old car starter buried under the pine needles. Why do we always find car parts, he jokes, though his laugh fades quickly into the stillness of Bear Lake. As the sun lowers, tires crunch on the gravel road. A white van appears, towing a small boat. The driver rolls down the window.
Well, this one was a first for me. I just got done cleaning up that campsite, and a van pulls in. He's got a boat in tow. He rolls his window down and says, "Hey, do you mind if I set up a tent next to your camper?" Normally, that doesn't happen. But I noticed he's got a couple of kids in the back. They probably want to do some fishing, so how am I supposed to say no to that? These campsites are getting full. This afternoon on the way up here, I had to put up the drone and use that to scout some of the spots that I have pinned on Google Maps, and everything's full. He did grab the fire pit, brought it over by the tent, so we're probably gonna do some cooking on the solo stove tonight. That's all right. I've been camping thousands of times. Those kids, probably only camping dozens of times. Toby and I, me and you, we're still gonna have a relaxing evening.
Kenny pauses, then nods. There are children in the back. The family settles in beside him. Later, the fire glows in his Ozark smokeless stove. Toby curls near his feet as Kenny cooks country sausages, watching the last bit of light fade over the lake. He mentions maybe finding a new spot tomorrow, somewhere quieter, maybe better for fishing. The next morning he packs up and drives toward an old campsite near a narrow bridge, a place he hasn't been in years. But halfway there, the check engine light flashes. The truck begins to lose power. Kenny coasts to the shoulder, gripping the steering wheel. No cell signal, no help. Moments later,
My fuel light came on probably 2 miles ago. I mean, I should definitely have enough fuel in the tank. The problem is that this road is a really steep downhill angle, and I've got a sump in the fuel tank, so there's just no fuel to draw. I'm back on kind of level surface right now, so I'm going to try and prime my fuel system. I hope I don't have to prime the filters and everything, but we'll see if we can't get this thing going. What a day. All right, so I removed the intake, try and pump this bleeder up. This screw is stuck. Of course it's stuck. Okay, let's see if we can do anything here. All right, the aftermarket fuel pump is on. Let's see if we can bleed the system this way. I'm not even hearing any gurgling coming out of there. What in the world? Give me a little bit of pressure. Just nothing. I really need to crack this screw though. I don't have a big enough screwdriver. Maybe I'll just cross my fingers and crank it over again. There we go. I think we got it. Except I'm covered in diesel. Get up there now. Come on. Okay. Let's see how many miles I got. Oh, stop it. What does it tell me? How many miles do I have till empty? Fuel range, 66 miles. Now it's just got to get air out of the line. All right, it's running. Let's get to the bottom of this hill so that way I can speed bomb it up to the top, get to the gas station. Holy buckets.
the engine dies completely. Out of diesel, stranded on a steep hill. Under the midday sun, he works on the fuel system, bleeding air from the line. His hands slick with diesel when the motor finally sputters back to life. What a day, he mutters, shaking his head. Maybe it's just fatigue. His body still healing from shoulder surgery, a man trying to find rhythm again. Or maybe it's something else. Out here, small problems don't feel random. The broken parts, the strange van, the stalling engine, they line up like quiet warnings he keeps ignoring. When the motor steadies again, Kenny signs off in his usual way. Be kind. Be honest. We'll see you down the road. But Toby doesn't move. The dog's head turns toward the dark tree line, ears sharp. The wind stops. For a moment, even the truck seems to hesitate. And in that silence, it feels like something unseen was waiting for him to leave. It was October 19th, 2025, when Exploring with Angelo released their newest video. Known for venturing into abandoned buildings and haunted wilderness, the channel documents real overnight explorations where solitude often takes an eerie turn. This time, Angelo and his friend Frank arrived at a remote lake near Lake Wanapitei, Northern Ontario hours behind schedule. The main campground had already shut its gates at 5 p.m., forcing them to drive another 4 hours through desolate back roads. By the time they reached this forgotten place, it was almost 10:30 p.m., the air sharp and freezing. Somewhere beyond the tree line lay a lake said to be haunted. Locals told stories of shadowy figures and a strange glowing presence that appeared near the water. For Angelo and Frank, it was just another night's challenge. But as the temperature dropped and silence pressed closer, the wilderness would soon prove otherwise. Under the glare of their headlights, they began setting up their hot tent, their only defense against the biting cold. Metal clanked frost formed on their gloves, and every breath vanished into the dark. While unpacking the wood stove, a low growl rolled across the lake.
All right, so I'm gonna start chopping up some wood because we're gonna need some kindling to get this thing started. We want to warm this puppy up as much as possible.
You hear that?
What?
I just heard like a growl. Like that way. All jokes aside.
From over there?
That way.
Do you have the
Which is
flashlight on?
by the lake. Well, towards the lake anyway.
That's good. Starting off with the to a good start, I suppose. We're about to get eaten right away. There, see, I'm hearing it again.
What?
Like someone talking. I don't know what. At first, it sounded like it was coming from there. Now it sounds like it's coming from that way. I don't know. Who knows? Now I'm hearing wolves. We don't know if they're wolves or coyotes. Kind of sounded like wolves to me.
Angelo froze, scanning the trees. "Did you hear that?" he whispered. Moments later, faint voices drifted from the darkness, too human to dismiss, too distant to explain. Hours passed as they worked by the flickering car lights until warmth finally filled the tent. But peace didn't last. When Frank stepped out to gather more wood, he spotted movement near the shoreline.
Does it sound like something's moving back there?
Yep.
It's like walking, like someone's walking, right? I mean, we haven't really gone back there yet, but...
Ugh, I'm so tired.
I know, me too. I've been on the road literally all day, but... I mean, we keep hearing voices. What if somebody's, like, down there? Maybe, like, night fishing or something.
I mean, it could be.
Could be. Let's go check. Let's just verify.
I mean, it wouldn't be ideal without lights, but, you know.
I mean, I guess.
Would you want to be out here without a flashlight?
I mean, I guess not.
Or some means of being able to see?
Make sure I have the car keys.
Because it is pitch black, guys. Once we shut off the lights, like, it is
Yeah, it's
black out here.
You ever use this as like a boat launch?
It could be.
Because I'm pretty sure this goes. Oh,
Is there?
there's a car.
Oh?
We did not notice that when we got here.
Whoops. Maybe somebody else is camping out here?
There's a trailer.
Might make sense of the noise.
Oh, there's a fire pit.
So,
Following the noise, they found something unnerving, a truck and boat trailer abandoned by the ramp. The registration sticker read 2022. No campfire, no footprints, just silence. Back inside, they tried to ignore it. Angelo cooked dinner on the wood stove, sausage, spinach, mushrooms, the kind of meal meant to calm the nerves. But the footsteps came again this time, right beside the tent.
You heard something outside?
Yeah. What the hell's that?
It really sounds like something's walking.
the fuck?
Wait. No, it's on this side. Oh? That was weird.
Yeah, it was very weird.
What's interesting, I know I haven't explained the story yet. I'm about to get to it just after we finish eating because we're starving. But apparently that's a thing that happens here. Like people hear like movement, like walking around the tent. I just really don't feel like checking right now because, well, I'm eating. And if I do see something, the food may go flying. See if we hear it again. That was my stomach, but I swear it sounded like a rock like smashed or something.
That was definitely a rock.
Right? Okay, now I'm confused. That was running.
What the hell? Okay, now I'm curious.
Right? Hello? Someone out there? That was weird. What was that?
I don't know.
Later, as they ate, Angelo read 2 stories locals had shared about the same lake accounts of dark figures among the trees and a glowing shape hovering above the water. And as he reached the final line, a laugh echoed outside. It wasn't the wind. It wasn't an animal. It was human. They rushed out but found nothing, only the faint outline of the same abandoned truck still untouched. Desperate for answers, Angelo turned on the spirit box. Static filled the air, then a voice broke through. Lily. To be frank, the woods. The words froze them where they stood. Inside the tent, the silence returned, but neither man slept. Could the voices and laughter belong to other campers? Possibly. But no one ever came back for that truck. The growl, the footsteps, the whispers, all too deliberate, too close. Maybe the legends surrounding this lake weren't fiction after all. When daylight came, the truck remained. No tracks, no movement, only the same cold stillness hanging over the water. If no one ever returned for it, then who was laughing outside their tent that night? It was November 16th, 1924, when Sur Ronster, a YouTube channel famous for its electric bike adventures and underground explorations, uploaded a video unlike anything they had done before. What began as another casual ride through abandoned tunnels quickly turned into something much darker.
I was not going to post this video. Something happened that I cannot explain. It was caught on camera, and if I wasn't there, I would think the video's fake. That's why I didn't want to post it. But here we are. Strap in, and trust me, what you're about to see is 100% real.
The host opens with a confession. He almost didn't post the footage. Something occurred inside that tunnel, something he still can't fully explain. The crew prepares their gear and coordinates over walkies, setting out to reach the end of an old underground passage said to contain graffiti untouched for more than 70 years. The deeper they travel, the narrower and hotter it gets. What starts out as excitement slowly transforms into unease. The ceiling lowers, the air thickens, and their engine sounds begin to echo in strange, unnatural ways. They stop briefly to tag their mark on the damp concrete before pressing farther into the dark. Then their walkie signal dies. The realization hits they're completely cut off. Surrounded by nothing but dripping water and silence, they continue deeper. Claustrophobia builds. About 5 miles in, they take a break. That's when the host hears it.
We need to report instantly. Let's go.
You realizing we're out of range now? We turned back to meet up with the other guys and all stopped to have a drink. I didn't want to stop. I felt pretty anxious being 5 miles deep in an underground tunnel with only one way in and one way out. I took my helmet off and stopped recording, and after about 10 minutes while one of us was talking and the rest of us were quietly listening, I heard 2 clear voices coming from the direction we just turned back. So I immediately put my helmet back on, powered on the GoPro, and hit record. But it turned out later that my clip never recorded. And that's only the very beginning of where it gets really difficult to explain things. Thankfully, Tonka was recording. His YouTube channel is What's Good America 1, and that's the angle we're looking at right now. So at this point, I had heard 2 male voices and told everyone to be quiet. I pointed my flashlight down the tunnel and see nothing. We all hear nothing. Then in the opposite direction, a loud noise, the first noise we heard the entire hour plus we spent in the tunnel, startles all of us. All a little freaked out, we literally run out of the tunnel. It was a very long ride back out before this happened.
Take a break to 394. We're going to be performing some extreme stunts coming out the tunnel. I advise you get this on video.
We continued having a good time before calling it a day. And you're probably thinking, that's it? You heard a loud noise? No. Here's where it gets really creepy and hard to explain. Later that night, Tonka sends me a text. Bro, I think I caught ghost audio. Bro, look at this. He attaches a clip and says, it sounds like it was said right into my mic as if someone was whispering it into my ear. And I know it wasn't me because I was trying to listen for sounds. I'm about to play the clip and I need to know down below, what do you think?
Remember when we thought we heard something, bro? Listen. This is when you went to check it. Did you hear that? That was not me, bro. I didn't make that sound. What the fuck? Bro.
To me, it sounds like someone whispering Lula directly into the mic. At first I thought maybe Tonka whispered under his breath, but let's remember where his mic is. Here I have the same exact microphone that Tonka was using. It was right here, so when you're talking normally it can hear you. That was why you had it there. But if you're whispering, you same way if you're whispering here, you would have had to been here to say Lula. Lula. I listened to it 100 times with my girlfriend that night, and we agree it kind of sounds like me, but this audio is directly off Tonka's camera, and I was not even close to whisper distance from his mic. Like I said at the beginning, I wouldn't believe this if I wasn't there.
Two male voices, faint but clear, coming from the same direction they entered. He grabs his GoPro, switches it on, but later finds nothing recorded. Moments later, from the opposite direction, a loud metallic crash echoes through the tunnel, sending the team sprinting back toward the exit. The laughter, the thrill all gone. Only fear remains. Later that night, Tonka, one of the riders, reviews his footage and discovers something disturbing. A whisper caught near his mic, softly saying what sounds like Lula. The host demonstrates that the mic was too far away for anyone to whisper into it, ruling out a prank. Two voices, a dead camera, a whisper too close to be natural. Each could be coincidence, but together they suggest something far stranger. Was it just interference, an echo playing tricks, or did something inside that tunnel want to be heard? The host doesn't pretend to know. He only knows what he felt was real. And as the video ends, he admits one thing: if he hadn't witnessed it himself, he'd think it was fake. Uploaded on October 9th, 2025, this video from the Outdoor Gear Review features Luke, known for testing outdoor gear and braving real storms. This time, he returns to North Carolina's Green Forest, a place drenched by constant rain and uneasy silence. On his previous visit, strange noises and a sudden crash left him disturbed. Now beneath gray skies and distant thunder, he's back to uncover what he missed.
This tree here is about 20 feet long. I can barely lift the rooted end. I'm not able to carry the entire tree. I could drag it a short distance, but even that would be difficult. The thing is, that morning when I came up to this tree, there were no drag marks on the ground. There were no holes in the ground where the tree was and then fell over. Looking at the roots here, you can see there's no dirt on them, meaning that this tree had been uprooted for a long time. Then somehow, this thing ended up here. I wish I could tell you all how this happened, but I do not have an explanation. What did I just find here? That's interesting, everyone. That is a tree marker used by scientists and whatnot to monitor tree growth and other conditions. That means this area was being studied for something. What's interesting though, there's only one marker. I've not seen any more. Usually when you find one, you'll find like a million of them. That is pretty unusual, to be honest.
As the rain lets up, Luke heads toward a fallen tree, the same one that blocked his path last time. It's enormous, nearly 20 feet long, resting perfectly across the trail. The roots are dry, clean, and untouched by mud. There are no drag marks, no torn soil, no sign that it fell naturally. Somehow, it had been placed there. He scans the forest, describing it as dense and suffocating, a maze of spruce and moss that hides anything beyond a few feet. He finds a scientific marker nailed to a trunk, likely for tracking growth, but there's only one. No pattern, no others nearby.
Because of all of these ferns. Tell me, folks, tell me this is not a green forest. So, this just caught my attention here. Look at how this moss has been torn off of this tree. That's a pretty good size scrape, larger than my hand by a bit. We got some deer tracks going through here. I don't see anything. But I definitely heard something. It could literally be right over there and we wouldn't see it. And again, it's because this forest is so thick, so dense. I could have swore I heard something walking through the forest. It came from over here. Let's go check it out. When I first started hiking in, lots of typical noises, but now it is silent. That tells me something. That tells me that something else is out here with me. Or there's a change in the weather, possibly a storm coming or something like that. Both can influence basically the noises that you hear in the forest. Completely silent.
The deeper he walks, the stranger the atmosphere becomes. The vegetation thickens, pressing in on all sides. Every sound seems to vanish before it travels. Luke then spots claw marks long, wide, and far larger than his hand. The camera lingers, showing the wet grooves glistening in the dim light. Then faint footsteps. Luke freezes, listening. It's not wind. It's not rain. Slow, deliberate steps echo between the trees, and then nothing. The silence that follows feels heavier than the sound itself. The forest goes completely still, the kind of stillness that makes the air tighten. He whispers that even the birds have stopped singing.
I am now hearing quite a bit of thunder from the north, and it concerns me. I could be completely wrong. I don't have cell phone service, but without a doubt, there's a thunderstorm out there, and based upon what I see with the clouds here, it's coming this way. I'm hearing something. I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but it sounds like footsteps. A tree just came down. It sounded like footsteps and like cracking wood. I think I just saw something move way back behind those trees. I am positive I saw something. We will hike over there once I'm finished up with lunch here. Unfortunately, everything in this forest is fallen and broken, so finding the exact spot may not be easy. Maybe it will be, but there's a possibility it won't.
By late afternoon, thunder rumbles from the south as fog rolls between the trees. Luke quickly sets up his tarp shelter before the storm hits. Rain starts to fall, tapping lightly against the fabric. Then a sharp crack cuts through the air. A tree crashes nearby. Luke turns the camera and catches movement deep between the trunks before it fades into the fog. When the forest quiets again, he sits by his camp, brushing away flies. The forest feels alive, wet breathing, watching. Then a dull thud breaks the calm, like something heavy moving through the soaked ground as lightning flashes overhead. Viewers later shared mixed theories. Some blamed weather and geology quartz vibration storm silence or shifting soil. Others pointed out that trees don't move on their own, and footsteps don't echo like that. A few warned that green forest might hide more than animals. As lightning strikes again, Luke packs up, vowing to return with trail cameras. If it wasn't the storm or an animal, what was pacing around his camp in the fog? Uploaded on June 23, 2025, this video was posted by Exploring with Angelo, a channel recognized for authentic outdoor adventures and paranormal investigations. In this upload, Angelo, his friend Lomar, and his dog Kia venture deep into the remote mountains of Nova Scotia, Canada, an area long tied to strange noises and rumored Bigfoot encounters. What starts as a simple overnight camp quickly becomes something much more unsettling.
I think that was the last rough trail that we had to drive down. Yeah, so we have the tarp going around, and should have that set up in a few moments. And then I'm gonna definitely light up the cooker because I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Now what you're gonna want to do is put it on the hottest spot so it sears, which is basically right there. Got a pretty good sear so far on one side. These sausages are cooking fast. Lomar was explaining the story. So you said there was 2 sightings or just one? 1902 and then 2019?
Yeah, there was one. There's a few in the area, I know that.
Okay.
One of them was in 2019.
Yeah. Yeah, So as he was saying, there was one apparently that was seen along like the side of one of the roads in this area. Then what was it? Ran over the mountain and then into the valley?
It ran over the guardrail.
Oh,
into
here. Okay. So there is a possibility that a Bigfoot is living out here, and who knows what the hell else could possibly be out here. You never really know. There have been rumors of this place being haunted as well, so sightings of apparitions and noises and all sorts of weird things.
The footage begins with soft knocks, low groans, and distant growls echoing through the woods. Angelo explains that they've entered a place known for its long history of unexplained events. The weather is wet and cold. Driving down slick dirt roads, the forest thickens branches, scraping along their vehicles. After searching for a clearing, they set up camp hanging a tarp between two cars to block the rain. They collect damp firewood and manage to get a small flame going. Dinner consists of New York strip steak and spicy Italian sausage cooked over the open fire. The rain continues, but the atmosphere stays relaxed. Angelo sprinkles salt, pepper, and garlic over his meal, while Kia waits nearby. After eating, they share coffee and talk about previous Bigfoot reports from the region. One from 1902 and another in 2019, each describing a large creature moving through fences and crossing roads.
Oh, it looks pretty abandoned, I think. Actually, it looks like they're kind of doing something on the inside. Huh. Hello? Anybody here? Yeah, I don't know if anybody actually like lives here. It could just be like a hunting shack or something. It starts freaking pouring. What was that? Okay, I just heard something. It sounded like something metal. Okay. Alright, somebody explain how that just happened. That, like, metal bucket-looking thing is now on the ground. What the f***? Someone here? I could have sworn that was, like, I'm pretty sure that was, like, right there in front of the door. Hello? It's creepy. Oh, I hear something. What is that? I'm hearing something back there. Weird. Okay, well, I'm gonna go and put that back. I don't know how the hell that went flying, but...
Later, Angelo decides to explore a nearby cabin. The trail is muddy and the rain cuts his visibility short. When he reaches the porch, a sudden metallic bang shatters the quiet. A heavy bucket crashes to the ground. He scans the area but finds no one. The bucket, he notes, is too heavy to fall by itself. As the rainfall worsens, he heads back to camp.
You're moaning? Okay, now I'm hearing another one from a different...
Yeah, what is that, dude?
The campers claim to have heard bizarre whooping calls and knocking sounds at night. Found a trail of large prints crossing a hiking path. No visual sighting, but audio was allegedly recorded but not released public. You hear that?
What the...
Bigfoot? Or whatever the hell that made that sound? That sounded very unnatural. It's so dark and hazy out here. Oh, oh, oh. I think that's what he does, something like that. Oh? Booga booga booga? I don't see nothing. I don't know, maybe that was actually a Bigfoot just now. I mean, we keep hearing something. I've never heard anything quite like that before. Okay, I just heard another knock. Oh, I think I just saw eyes over there. That was just me, guys. What the hell? Something just whistled exactly the way I did it. Okay, you know what? We're just gonna backtrack for a moment. I keep hearing something. Okay, let's just start making our way back. Screw this. Okay, that was just that howling again. Okay. I'm waiting to see if we hear anything else at this point, but I'm kind of ready to just start backtracking. And just go get back to camp and get out of this damn rain. Oh. What was that? I swear that... What is that? Oh, 3 knocks. What is going on?
Not long after new noises emerge. Long, distant howls echo through the forest, followed by sharp, rhythmic knocks. Kia tenses up. Angelo and Lomar listen carefully, trying to pinpoint the source. The sounds don't match any known animal in the region. Angelo steps out from under the tarp with his flashlight and camera, calling the noises unnatural. In the dark, 2 eyes reflect his light. He whistles once, and something whistles back.
You good?
Yeah.
What happened?
Some weird sounds, really.
Yeah, I also heard some weird sounds, too.
Yeah, like unhuman type of sounds. It was
like moaning? I heard
something
like...
in distress.
Oh. Like I heard some really weird like moaning that I've legit like never heard before. So what do you think? What do you think's out here?
In this spot?
Do you think there's a Bigfoot still out here?
I think there's a creature though. I don't think it may not be a Bigfoot, but there might be like a cryptid or a creature like lingering. Like...
I mean, there's got to be something out here. Those were not like normal noises. We definitely heard something out here. I can't definitively say whether that was or was not Bigfoot. It very well could have been. I don't really know. We were actually gonna sleep here tonight, but seeing as how it's so muddy now, like literally everywhere we step, it's just gross. So we're gonna pack it in and head back. But it was definitely a good adventure. We camped out for a long time.
Back under the tarp, the storm intensifies. Angelo turns on a spirit box. Static fills the air before clear words break through horrific. Hunt. Wild beast. The 2 men exchange glances but keep filming. Soon 3 heavy knocks echo in the distance. The downpour grows stronger and the forest falls silent again. By morning, the camp is soaked in thick mud. They eat what remains of their food and pack up. Angelo admits he can't explain what they heard but insists it was real. Viewers were split. Some blamed the weather or local wildlife, while others pointed to the falling bucket, the returning whistle, and the triple knocks. An unnoticed axe at 4732 caught attention later. A few compared the growl to recorded Sasquatch sounds, warning that Nova Scotia sightings tend to be hostile. Angelo later mentioned he might revisit once conditions improve, but the mystery remains what caused the heavy knocks, the eerie howls, and the voice calling itself a wild beast. If it wasn't the storm, then what was it? Uploaded on December 11th, 2021. This video is from Trent the Traveler, a YouTuber recognized for sharing his solo van life adventures across the US. Alongside his dog Millie, he roams from forest to forest, camping, cooking by the fire, and finding joy in solitude. But in this episode, what begins as a calm night alone deep in the woods turns quietly unsettling.
So anyway, I'm gonna find some wood here for the fire. This seems like a really good solid stick that'll burn nice and great. This is just a nice little good old-fashioned pine wood. Millie, can you please help me find some sticks? I am having trouble right now. I need more sticks like this. Can you help me find more sticks? You gotta get some dead leaves off the ground. Make sure though, they are dead and dry. I'm being so loud right now. So you wanna take a big old clump of these bad boys, light your lighter, and let the world burn. Okay, the sun has officially set, and now I am amongst the darkness of this forest, all alone, trying to gather some firewood. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, it's kind of spooky. You start hearing noises. If you listen for too long, you start seeing things move. If you stare for too long, what is that? Okay, that looks weird. Okay, that's not creepy at all. Why is there a random recliner in the middle of the woods? Okay, there was just a weird humming that I heard.
It opens with Trent parking his van deep within a national forest. As daylight fades, he gathers firewood, laughing about how peaceful the place feels. Then his flashlight lands on something odd, an old recliner half buried in leaves yet standing perfectly upright in the middle of the forest. He pauses, then jokes that it's a ghost's throne.
Going for us? I blame this on you? Okay, there we go. Now we got a good fire going again. You know, believe it or not, but building and maintaining a good fire, I am going to dry this tofu out. And the way we do that, we just put a little daggum, what's this called? A towel, freak. We can put a towel down, put your tofu down, and you want to wrap it up. Just give it a nice little squish. Oh, dang, she boiling already. Okay, chill. I'm gonna be snacking on these peppers, you know what I'm saying? They're good. I just heard something outside. Hello? Hello? I could have sworn I just heard something outside. Millie, can you go check on that for me, please? Okay, we're just gonna pretend like that didn't happen. You know, as long as it doesn't happen again. Whoever's out there, I'm making dinner if you want any. Just come on in. Oh! Woo!
Back at camp, he cooks tofu and rice inside the van, leaving the door wide open as light spills into the trees. Millie sits nearby, ears perked. Suddenly, a loud thud echoes outside. The camera jolts slightly, and Trent freezes. He chuckles it off, saying, "If someone's out there, come have dinner." But no response comes.
Ooh, girl, here we go. It is a night full of gaming. Got some WoW booted up, ready to game with a delicious meal. Look at that. Look at that beautiful meal right there. It's basic, but I guarantee you it is tasty.
Only silence, thick and still. Later, as the fire outside dies, he plays World of Warcraft on his laptop. Eventually, he says it's bedtime. The van door still cracked open. The screen fades to black, but the forest remains alive, whispering beyond view. The comments section quickly divides. Many criticize his open van, and bare windows get blackout curtains, one writes. A retired officer warns, "It's not ghosts you should worry about." Others point out strange visuals. A moving ceiling shadow, a pale orb drifting near the camera. Some praise his calm. He just kept cooking. Trent never acknowledges anything strange. Yet viewers share stories of their own footsteps around tents, faint voices in the dark faces glimpsed through glass. So which is it? Just nerves playing tricks? Or something still waiting out there? Uploaded on June 22nd, 2025 by British YouTuber Adas from Ads Uncut. This video documents his overnight stay inside the West Midlands Safari Park in the UK. Known for laid-back travel vlogs, Ads decided to test his comfort zone, spending a night just a few feet from lions. But as daylight faded, the peaceful luxury began to feel oddly unsettling. Ads starts the day driving into the sprawling West Midlands Safari Park, surrounded by rolling green hills and distant animal calls. His accommodation for the night is Kruger Lodge, one of the park's most exclusive stays, a glass-walled suite built right next to the lion habitat.
Whereas in my master bedroom, there is no gap whatsoever. My feet, or maybe even my head if I choose to sleep at this end, are literally going to be next to the lions. Oh wait, I've seen one! There's a lion! He's chilling up there in the shade. Okay, that makes a lot of sense as to why they're not all out. Obviously, they don't like sitting in the heat of the sun. So later on when the sun goes down, that should be our opportunity to have them around here. It's a shame he hasn't come down into this patch of shade down here though. That would be incredible if he was right there. But yeah, this is unbelievable. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm extremely hot. I need to take some of these layers off and just chill out for a little bit on the bed. I will have the camera at the ready, so if anything comes along, obviously I'll show you that. But in the meantime, I'm just going to chill out for about 30 to 37 minutes. I am back in the room. I'm feeling refreshed. Do you know what? I've been absolutely loving laying in that bed, looking out here at the lions. One of them's so funny, right? He keeps moving positions and he just wanders along a few paces and then he just drops to the floor like he's been shot. So that's been making me laugh. And at one point he'd had enough of being in the shade. He wanted a bit of sun. So he stepped out, flopped down again.
After checking in, he strolls through the park filming rhinos, elephants, and hippos under the warm afternoon sun. When he finally reaches the White Lion Lodge, the camera pauses. 2 lions rest just beyond the glass, their eyes locked on him as he records. Later inside the room, he notices long claw marks running down the glass wall. The staff had mentioned it before. Sometimes the lions paw at the barrier, testing its strength. He laughs it off, though his tone drops slightly as he runs his hand along one of the scratches.
That's probably about as far as my explanation of the culinary delight goes. I gave it another blast in the microwave, and I gotta be honest, that was actually incredible. Compliments to the chef, that chicken was amazing. But this is the bit I'm mainly looking forward to, the banoffee pie, which I've just fully enjoyed consuming on my swinging chair, and now I've cracked open another ice cold beer. There's only one thing left to do, and that is kick back, relax, and wait for my lion friends to approach. Mayday, mayday, the lion is on the move. I've just been doing a bit of work on the laptop, but he's on the move and I can actually hear him roaring out there. I don't know if you can hear him. He's over the back there. God, that is amazing. Look at that. You can see the scratches so clearly now. Look how many there are. Literally, I cannot wait. If that happens, I'm going to be so excited. Right, I'm back in my room now. I've got the best vantage point. What the hell is going on? Is that alright? Yeah. Right. Where were we? I'm back in my room. I've got the best vantage point of the one that's down the edge there, and I can still see the ones that are at the top. So I'm going to continue doing my work, but do not worry, we will not miss a thing. Okay, we've got one of the ones from the top coming down to join his little mate. He's been roaring at him, and that was obviously a signal to come on over.
Evening settles quietly. He heats up a pre-packed meal, pours a drink, and sits near the window just as the first roar echoes through the air. Outside, a lion moves slowly through the dim light illuminated by the glow from his room. It steps closer, pressing its nose to the glass, its breath misting the window. Hours later, the park falls silent. Then faintly comes the sound of slow, heavy breathing just outside.
I cannot believe how close he is. Look at it. Right, there's literally a lion right here. This is insane. Where's my other camera? Okay, we have finally got the wish. The lion is right there. So I know you can't see me very well, but I'm keeping the lights off in case another one comes. Basically, I was sat there, I didn't have any chance to get the camera properly or anything because he come straight past the glass. He wasn't like, he didn't come down from far. I don't know how he got round the back. Maybe it's a different one. Maybe it's not part of the free. He can be staring at me when I sleep, licking his lips and dreaming of feasting upon my pancreas. But that is what I signed up for, and I absolutely love the idea of it, to be honest. It's going to be so weird if I open my eyes and there's just a massive silhouette staring at me. But that's the kitchen lights out. The last one to turn out is the bedroom light, and I will catch you guys in the morning. Good morning, people. It's currently 9 AM, but I did get up at 4:30 AM And I do have some incredible videos as evidence. The lions at the moment, they're just chilling up the back there. But it's 9 a.m. Checkout is in an hour.
At dawn, golden light washes across the field, and a lion stands motionless, only feet away, staring in silence. The moment feels tense, unreal, as if time itself has stopped. Viewers later noted how Ads' voice subtly changed whenever the lions approached. Some admired his composure. Others thought he was concealing nervousness. A few even questioned whether the glass had ever been tested against a lion's full strength. Ads called it one of his best experiences, yet he hasn't stayed beside predators since. Maybe it wasn't fear that stopped him from returning. Maybe after seeing a lion that closed the quiet that follows, never feels peaceful again. On February 15th, 2020, the YouTube channel High Gear, known for raw off-road and dirt bike encounters, released one of its most chaotic videos to date. The footage follows a solo rider named Vladimir during what began as a calm afternoon ride until a sudden confrontation with two locals turned it into a heated dispute. The video opens quietly, the steady hum of the engine, the sound of wind, and a long stretch of open green field. Vladimir stops briefly before two men appear.
All the people around. Here it comes very. Oh, what a nice bike, man. And it's feeling very, very right there. There is some people. Kaj vi? Kaj narobe? Saj ne delamo škode, saj sred zime. Pa trava še zmer pizda. Ja, to ne kosijo zdaj kmeti, veš, to je še lepo, gleda, ne. Ti riješ tukaj zemljo, vse bo že... Nisem, prav greš pogledat, vse, a je tvoje drugače? Je lik moje, ampak ima veze. Ja. Ja, ne moš kratko se tukaj fuljati. Zakaj ne? Ja, kaj ni tvoje? Ja, mislim, saj če ni škode, ni panike, ali? Stari. Da ne grem, bom jaz šel počasi, prav, dober, v redu. Kaj vidva drugače? A sta drva sekala, a? A? Kaj? Ajde, kako me baviti? Ja, sej grem.
Walking toward him with sharp, angry voices. Within moments, one of them kicks his dirt bike to the ground. Trying to remain composed, Vladimir lifts it up and rides away through a forest trail. On-screen captions mock the men as angry, jobless thugs and grass huggers. For a short while, it seems like the tension has faded. But soon he runs into them again, standing in his path, visibly angrier than before.
Hej, no, pa proklet debil, kaj s tabo, model? Pa ne vem. Si profuknen. Daj poberite se, pejte kaj delati, model, kaj z vami? Človek se ne more zabavati tukaj, ali kaj? Zdaj, beš. Pizdita, model.
And his name is John Cena!
Tvoj prijatelj se prnupa, a?
Bruh.
Sam dajte, daj umer ga pač ti magar. Čilite se. Pejt stran, model, lega. Ti beš. Spizdite. Model. Odmaknem ga, da je lahko jaz grem in to je to. Profuknem si, model.
They begin arguing about the land. One man yells that Vladimir is ruining the grass while he insists he's not doing any harm, pointing out that it's winter and the ground is frozen. Their voices overlap, growing louder as tempers flare. The men step closer, and Vladimir decides to leave before things escalate. But as he turns back toward the open field, both men move in surrounding him. He tries to accelerate, but the bike slips and falls. The GoPro shakes violently as one man lunges forward, trying to grab him. The shouting intensifies. A brief scuffle follows the footage, blurs into chaos, filled with the roar of the engine, scuffling sounds, and heavy breathing. The men yell for him to leave. Vladimir mutters something under his breath, starts the bike again, and speeds into the forest, leaving the confrontation behind. Viewers were split. Some argued Vladimir trespassed and provoked the locals, while others felt the men went too far. One comment summed it up best: "You can't fistfight someone wearing a helmet and armor." Vladimir never addressed the encounter again, and the video ended without further explanation. Whether it was just a dispute over land or something more personal remains uncertain, a fleeting moment of anger that could have ended much worse. Uploaded on May 16, 2025 by The Trek Planner, a channel known for exploring ancient ruins, forgotten trails, and remote canyons across the American Southwest. In this episode, Jeff follows his instincts deep into an isolated canyon, searching for signs of early human life. What begins as a calm exploration soon turns unsettling, leaving viewers questioning what he truly uncovered out there. Jeff starts his journey at sunrise, hiking across rugged desert terrain, guided only by GPS and intuition. The canyon stretches endlessly, surrounded by towering red walls that look untouched for centuries. Hoping to locate ancient carvings, he launches his drone to scan the cliffs for petroglyphs or pictographs.
Well, none of that turned up anything. So I think I'm just gonna go all the way to my destination and maybe on the way back explore this stuff, but that's what I'm gonna do. Lots of rock art. There's water here, so that tells me a good indicator that there could be that stuff, but I'm just not seeing it.
After hours of searching, he spots faint markings, possibly human-made or maybe just mineral stains. Still, it's enough reason to keep going. As he moves deeper, the silence grows heavier. Then a sudden boom echoes through the canyon. Startled, Jeff looks around. No smoke, no movement, only the wind cutting through the rocks.
So something that got me a little spooked was I was flying the drone down there, maybe, I don't know, 400 feet or so, and I heard this really loud, like, boom, boom. And it came from like up this direction, and I thought it was like a cow like stomping or something. And so I dismissed it. And then as the drone, I was flying the drone, and I heard it again. I was like, doom, doom. And trying to figure out what would make that sound. There's no trails on top of this butte right here. So I heard it from like over here somewhere. And I flew the drone over there. I didn't see anything, didn't see any cows, didn't see anything, any movement or nothing. So I'm wondering if it's like something that came from above. I don't know, but it freaked me out. Like, what can make a sound like that in the desert? So I'm not going up this canyon. It's the Drum Canyon.
He presses on and enters a narrow side canyon where he discovers old inscriptions, names carved decades ago, including Jackie was here, 1967. The traces of human presence linger, yet something feels wrong. As the sun begins to set, he returns to his bike, only to find the tire completely flat.
Oh, thank goodness you're still here. That's the best part, is I rode out here with pedal assist, and I didn't even bring down one tick in my battery. So now that I'm really tired, I'm just gonna throttle it the entire way home. So yeah, it's gonna feel great. I thought I was done with this adventure, but then something happened. Okay, so the craziest thing happened. So I got back to my bike, my tire was flat. So I was spending a couple of minutes, putting in the sealant and stuff, and all of a sudden I hear like this low rumble, and I'm like, oh no, what next? And I look in the distance and I see this dust cloud. I'm like, oh, somebody's coming. So this truck pulls up and he's like, whoa. He's like, I wasn't expecting anybody out here. And I was like, me neither. He's like, is anybody out here today? I'm like, no, nobody. He's like, whoa, what are you doing? I was telling him, like, trying to solve a mystery. And he was like, were you hiking up any of these canyons? I was like, yeah, I went up that one, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, how far did you go up this one? And I'm like, pretty far until the vegetation, you know, was a little too much for me. Then he said, do you see the missile booster? I was like, what? Missile booster? What are you talking about? So I'm gonna go check it out. Thought I was done, but I have to see this, even if it's just a couple pieces of it.
The video then cuts to Jeff explaining what happened next. A man in a truck appeared out of nowhere, shocked to see anyone in the area. He asked if Jeff had seen a missile booster, an odd question in such an isolated place. Following his directions, Jeff soon found the charred remains of a large metallic structure.
I see it. It's over there. I'm almost there. So random. Oh, look at that. It burned right there, right? I don't even know what this is supposed to look like. Okay, I'm like super red. Just as red as this rocket when it was blasting off. Look where we're at. Little canyon. Well, this is really cool. I'm glad we made the slow, steady leisure walk up here. It was worth it. Oh, look what I just found. Oh, thiacol. That's who makes the rockets. Well, we found one of your top secret rockets. Oh my gosh, that stuff's in there.
So how did a Pershing II missile booster end up in this remote canyon? The Pershing II was a Cold War era nuclear-capable missile designed for fast, precise strikes. From 1979 to 1991, test launches were conducted nearby at a secret site. After launch, the booster would fall back to Earth and was usually recovered. But for some reason, this one was never picked up. It's been here ever since.
Well, why would they leave it here? Can you imagine that sound that would have made? Just this huge crash. I wonder if anybody saw it fall down. That was really cool though.
Fragments mark Thiocol, the company that once built the Pershing II missile during the Cold War. Later viewers speculated that the earlier explosion might have been linked to forgotten military testing. Others shared chilling desert tales of strangers who appear suddenly and disappear without a trace. One comment read, "In the desert, someone's always watching." Jeff never saw the man again. Whether he was a traveler, a former worker, or something else entirely remains unknown. But one thing felt certain. The discovery wasn't random. As one viewer wrote, he didn't just find it, he was meant to. September 16th, 2023, late summer in the Korean mountains. Rain falls endlessly, wrapping the forest in a constant gray haze. This is Kieran Camp, a YouTube channel known for peaceful solo camping trips, where gentle rain, simple meals, and quiet companionship with her dog Ange create moments of calm. But today, that calm feels uncertain. The air is thick, the clouds low, and though the woods seem quiet, it feels as if they're holding their breath, waiting for something. The rain never stops. Kieran steps out in her raincoat, her movements slow and deliberate, as if the forest itself is watching. The ground squelches under her boots, while she struggles with a one-touch tent that refuses to cooperate. By the time it stands, both she and Ange are soaked through. The little dog shakes herself off a drenched silhouette against the gray mist.
Wow. 완전 화생방이야, 화생방.
Inside, the sound of rain softens to a muffled hum. Kieran seals the TPU window and warms rice for Ange, a small act of care that cuts through the chill. When the downpour eases, she begins cooking seafood pancakes sizzling on the flame. The scent of chives and pepper fills the tent, and for a brief moment, the storm outside feels far away. But peace never lasts in the wild. The rain thickens again, hammering the tarp as thunder rolls through the valley. Kieran laughs softly, calling her dish seafood pizza, sipping macholi, while the world outside dissolves into silver sheets of rain. Then warmth turns to chaos. Smoke rises from the stove, first a wisp, then a suffocating cloud. She coughs, scrambling to smother the fire. The tent darkens the damp air, thick with smoke and panic. Water seeps in from the seams pooling at her feet. She checks her phone, but there's no signal. Only the hum of rain and the slow, uneasy truth that she's completely alone. She retreats to her car, soaked blankets, and a trembling dog beside her. The night stretches long. Every gust of wind rattles the windows like a warning.
보가니탕.
Morning comes still heavy with rain. Kieran feeds Ange ox knee soup and makes herself coffee and a bagel, the warmth easing the memory of smoke and fear. The trip, she admits, felt like a small disaster, but every storm teaches something. The ground hardens after the rain. Maybe this is what solo camping really means. Not peace, but endurance. A reminder that serenity isn't found in comfort, but in surviving discomfort with quiet strength. As Kieran and Ange walk away from the drenched campsite, their footprints blur into the mud. Would you still seek peace if the rain never stopped? October 19th, 2025. Deep in the Pacific Northwest, the crew from Twin Paranormal arrived at a secluded cabin hidden miles from the nearest town. There was no electricity, no phone signal, only endless trees whispering in the wind. For years, locals had spoken of this place, a forest cabin where a witch once performed dark rituals, and where travelers claimed to have seen something not quite human. Some called it Dogman, others a skinwalker. Tonight, the team began their investigation inside the very walls where those legends began.
This cabin feels very, very eerie. We've been to a couple of cabins and have never felt this way, huh?
No.
Ever.
It's like you're constantly being watched.
The plan is, we're gonna sit in a circle, we're gonna ring this bell. We're gonna try to bring in whoever people see or think they see.
This camera just got blurry?
How?
Now it's good? It just blurred out.
whoever you are, whatever you are, we're gonna ring this bell. If you can hear it.
Did you hear that while you were talking?
It sounded like somebody was talking outside of the cabin.
Right out the window here.
Where is that? That's right here. Can you step away? Why does that thing sound like that?
I don't know.
What?
I just felt a.
Whoa. Did you just hear that upstairs?
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna reset it.
Yeah.
The moment they stepped inside, the atmosphere shifted. The wooden floor creaked under their boots, and the silence grew so heavy it felt alive. Every shadow stretched too far. Every corner seemed to breathe. Twin Paranormal had explored dozens of haunted places before, but this cabin carried something different, something watching. They gathered in a circle, placing a bell in the center, the air trembling with cold. Before it rang, a dragging sound echoed from upstairs, slow, deliberate. The camera lost focus on its own, and a whisper came from outside the window. Did you hear that one of them asked? Everyone had.
We have these devices that you can speak through. You can say one word or a whole sentence. You can say whatever you want. Anything.
No, it does not feel like we are alone. Dad, I just heard that. Would you like to talk? Who's upstairs? It's either there. I mean, I don't know what's going on. It sounded like somebody's upstairs, but also it sounded like somebody was walking around the fucking house. Wait, that just went. Can you walk away? Please? Did you just Did you hear that? Did you? The REM pod stopped and it said, "Why did you come?" And then that. We came to talk! Who's up here?
For what you are. Do you mind telling us?
You will what? No.
I welcome you. Who?
Can we do a quick walk?
Quick walk?
I'm just curious.
Outside?
Yeah.
Let's go back inside.
Do you have the bell?
No.
Did you just hear the bell?
I did.
Where's the bell?
Inside on the couch.
Wait, why? Did you hear the bell?
I did hear that bell.
We should go. I'm hosting, not. I've seen what's inside! What are the odds? We go out there, it says, "I like the forest." Evil. I've seen what's inside. House, evil.
Who is this?
There's something evil in here?
Shut the up.
It's like this. Can you see us? Are you watching?
Did that say yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't fear us.
Demise.
Demise?
Demise.
Two different devices.
Is there somebody outside?
Whoa, that's not demise.
The eyes?
Thermal.
Thermal!
Do we have it?
What? Bro? Somebody said thermal. Is that how we can see you? You said you know what's inside this house. You said it's evil. Where are they?
Do not touch. She's around here.
When the bell finally chimed, the spirit box answered. Static cracked, and a faint, broken voice emerged. Why did you come? Then another followed, deeper, colder. I welcome you. He killed us. They rushed outside, hearts pounding, but the woods were empty. And yet from inside the cabin, the bell rang again on its own. The devices began speaking one after another. I like the forest. I've seen what's inside. Evil. The words came faster, layered over one another, fragments of thought, pressing in from every side. Then came the scratching, long, deliberate strokes across the wooden wall, echoing like nails dragging over glass. Someone whispered, "She's here." Another voice, metallic through the static, replied, "Thermal, glaring eyes." Outside, footsteps circled the cabin. Inside, something whispered softly, almost tender. Painful form. Sick. Wyatt careful.
This thing is trying to trick us, I believe. We go outside, and it said, "I've seen what's inside." It says evil, meaning that it's trying to lure us outside.
It's hard for me to process whether or not this is like an energy or like some weird physical manifestation of something. You know what I'm saying? How would it go from outside to inside? We're the only ones in this cabin, let alone probably in like this square 100 miles. This is like a totally different fear than we've ever really dealt with.
Whoever's been speaking with us, we are putting our energy into these cards. We are putting our energy into you. And we hope that you are doing the same thing. All right, guys, we're gonna do this together. Just pick whatever feels best. You guys ready?
Yep.
Yeah. The tower. Oh, the first card is the tower. That's the tower reversed.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's reversed, right?
Ten of Cups. Ten of Cups, upright. The devil! No, 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 no!
Something doesn't feel good. Something feels like it's here.
There's something wrong. Did you guys hear that movement outside? It's definitely out. It did not sound like normal inside.
I got one more question.
Guys, what if
Such an old practice. If there was really a woman out here that had something wrong with her doing black magic, there's like a 99% chance that we're probably the only other people besides her that have ever done this here.
They tried to stay rational to ground themselves in logic, but something was clearly responding, intelligent and aware. The colder the air grew, the stronger the voices became. Whatever haunted the forest wanted them to stay. It wanted to be known. Later that night, the tarot cards revealed what reason could not. The tower warned of destruction breaking through order. 10 of Cups reversed showed that the cabin was never a refuge. The devil reversed hinted at something unbound and intelligence feeding on fear itself. The team wondered if the witch's rituals had left something unfinished, something still seeking form. When dawn arrived, a voice on the recorder repeated one phrase again and again: "I host, not haunt." Maybe it wasn't a spirit trapped in the cabin. Maybe the cabin was trapped by it. October 9th, 2025. Deep in the soaked forests of Northumberland National Park, Northern England. The ground is drenched and the air still bites with the lingering chill left by Storm Amy. Katie, the creator behind Katie Roams, begins another solo adventure. Her channel focuses on the calm of isolation, quiet camps, survival challenges, and the raw beauty of nature's silence. But tonight's test is different. There's no tent, no sleeping bag, no warm gear, only a 2-pound foil emergency blanket separating her from the cold. As daylight fades between the trees, one question remains: how long can someone last when every comfort is taken away?
It is quickly getting dark. It's just turned 5 o'clock. I don't have much hope for it to stay light much longer. The rules of this challenge are simple. No fancy gear, no sleeping bag, nothing extra layers wise. I've just got my thermals on and my rab pants which are lined. I'm allowed to use any natural materials around me to make it more sheltered, and I've got a foil blanket. That's it. This is my shelter so far. So I've got just enough room to sit upright. So I'm probably gonna sleep like this. Won't be as comfortable and I probably won't sleep a lot. But in a survival situation, that's probably how I would do it. There's loads of ferns down here and they're all dead. So I'm gonna see if I can take some of them and use them as my little cover. The other great thing about foil blankets is that you can use them as little carrier bags. So instead of going back and forth, let's give it a go, shall we? Okay, it's not comfortable on my bum, but that's okay. It's getting cold quickly. I'm in my foil blanket but it's really hard to move around in. Okay, let's make dinner. The yogurt's so solid because it's so cold. It's gonna need a fork. Just realised I've forgotten my lettuce. It's looking barren because it's not got any lettuce in it. That's what I was trying to say. Oh, it's like a mini hand warmer. Oh my gosh. That's a life hack. I probably shouldn't put my food on my face, but I really don't care right now. That's so warm. I do not know how people are doing this. I'm so cold right now. Okay, it's my hands and my feet get really cold. Because I've got anemia, my hands and my feet get cold anyway, and I have fatigue really quickly. But I thought I'd be better than this, honestly.
By 5 o'clock, the forest was already dim. Branches still bent from the storm, and the ground beneath her boots shimmered with moisture. Katie gathered what she could: fallen limbs bark and damp ferns to build a shelter before night consumed the woods. It was small, barely large enough to sit upright, but smaller meant warmer, or so she hoped. When she finally settled inside, the forest went quiet. The foil crackled sharply each time she shifted, catching every whisper of wind threading through the trees. The temperature hovered around 2 degrees Celsius, and soon her fingers and toes began to sting. To fight the cold, she heated dinner turmeric yogurt chicken wraps she had prepared earlier. Steam rose from the pan like brief comfort, warming her hands and cheeks. "It's like a mini hand warmer," she whispered with a soft laugh, her breath fogging in the air. But once the food was gone, so was the warmth. The foil offered no protection, only reflecting the chill back at her body. Hours dragged on.
Right now, it's mainly my hands that are really cold. I've got them wrapped in like a double layer of the blanket, but it's still not doing much. If I can get my body temperature a bit more up, then it can start reflecting my heat better, because right now it's just probably reflecting cold onto cold. I'm trying to stay out as long as I can. I don't know how long I'm gonna last, honestly, at this point. I think I need to make a decision within the next 20 minutes on whether or not I'm sticking it out. I have to remember that I have anemia as well, because at the end of the day, it's not worth getting hypothermia for a YouTube video. So I will make my call based on how I feel. I've done some star jumps, I've done push-ups. I just can't seem to get warm, and I don't want to waste my energy either. Oh my gosh. I think I'm always gonna hit a main trail, which is good. Nelly! I did not make it through the night, but that's okay, because a £2 emergency blanket was not enough for me to survive through the night.
The temperature dropped even further. She wrapped herself tighter, murmured encouragement, tried jumping jacks, even push-ups, anything to spark heat, but her body refused to respond. Fatigue crept in slow and heavy. "It's not worth getting hypothermia for a YouTube video," she said quietly, voice trembling. She stood, pulled the foil from her shoulders, and disappeared into the dark of the Northumberland Trail. Later, she explained that a foil blanket doesn't create warmth. It only reflects what already exists. When your body's empty of heat, it reflects nothing back. Viewers later pointed out strange moments, the foil shifting after she stood, the way her breathing stopped for a second before she spoke again. Some insisted it was just the wind. Others weren't so sure. Katie didn't last the entire night, but she left with a truth that cuts deeper than pride. Survival isn't about strength or fearlessness. It's about knowing when to stop. Still, one question lingers among her viewers. When she left that fragile shelter behind, was she truly walking away alone? On January 5th, 2025, the Indonesian YouTube channel Om Mama Nu released a video showing a solo overnight deep inside a secluded plantation. The spot lay between a rubber forest and oil palm groves. On the surface, it seemed peaceful, yet beneath that quiet rested a dark past that, according to locals, never truly faded. Years earlier, this same area had been the site of a violent land dispute. Several people were hurt, and at least one man was killed in a brutal manner. His body, discovered bearing signs of severe trauma, became the center of chilling tales, whispers of a spirit still roaming the trees, unable to rest, searching for justice or peace. The creator behind the channel was no stranger to unsettling places. His content revolves around solo horror camping, often filmed in areas marked by tragedy or spiritual folklore. But from the very start, this night felt heavier. The atmosphere was dense, the silence unnatural. There was no sign of human presence, only the faint hum of insects and the flicker of a small campfire. The evening began as usual. He cooked, prepared his tent, and set up a CCTV camera outside to monitor the surroundings. But as time passed, unease began to grow. Strange cries echoed high above in the treetops. Rustling sounds stirred within the bushes. Then came an eerie stillness that swallowed every trace of natural sound. Sometime after 2 a.m., things escalated. Then again, more noticeably, as if unseen hands were testing the grips. There was no wind, no animals around. The movement was intentional quiet, almost like something was making its presence known. When he stepped outside with a flashlight, the forest stood motionless, yet the charged air and the sense of being watched refused to leave. Hours later, as he reviewed the CCTV footage, he discovered something chilling. For a few seconds, the camera caught a faint, translucent figure standing beyond the tent, human-shaped still, and then vanishing into the trees. The moment coincided exactly with the bike's strange movement. The remainder of the night was filled with scattered knocks, shifting shadows, and long stretches of oppressive silence. At one point, he even wondered if staying until sunrise was worth it, but he stayed determined to face whatever came. When dawn finally broke, the forest fell silent again, though the heaviness lingered. The scream, the moving bike, and the pale figure on camera all hinted at something truly there. Quiet warnings, each one closer than before. Some believe the plantation's violent history fuels this haunting, that the spirit of the slain man remains trapped within the land. Others think the translucent figure was connected to the movement itself, a manifestation using physical objects to draw attention. Whether superstition or something more real, the footage suggests this was no illusion. Was the figure merely a trick of the light, or the restless soul of a man wronged on this very ground? And if the warnings were growing stronger, what might have happened had he stayed one more night? It was Sunday, July 16th, 2006. Two brothers wandered away from their family's campsite in Tofino, Canada. Their parents stayed behind while the boys set out to explore, hoping to capture some wildlife on camera. Locals often mentioned seeing deer and even bears in the area, so the brothers eagerly ventured into the woods. But what they encountered was nothing they could have prepared for. Deep in the forest, they noticed a tall, shadowy figure, humanoid in form, but far too large to be a person. Standing nearly 7 feet high, it moved with a presence that instantly froze them in terror. One of the brothers scrambled to grab the camera and managed to record a brief glimpse before the figure vanished among the trees. Shaken, they ran back to camp. Yet curiosity got the better of them. Later that evening, they returned to the same spot, only to uncover something even stranger.
In the enchanted forest at Tofino, right by that tree over there. Over there. Yeah, that one. We saw it. Let's go see if we can. I don't know. Okay. Shit. Check the ground. I don't know. Maybe. Wait, come here. Look at that. This is. He ran backwards, right? See, that could be a possible footprint. I don't know. Like, look. Yeah, either like any foot would like cause some sort of indentation there. I don't know. We need to. I don't know. We're kind of in the middle of nowhere. How are we gonna mark this? Give a pan around. Like over there, left. Yeah. Okay, that's it. The camera's good.
Huge footprints sank deep into the muddy ground, far too big to belong to any known animal. The impressions showed mass shape and proportions that defied explanation. The video eventually surfaced online, igniting a debate that still lingers today. Some believe it captures real evidence of a humanoid being in the Canadian wilderness, perhaps Bigfoot itself. Others claim it was staged, or maybe the traces of an unknown species science has yet to identify. The forests surrounding Tofino are vast, secluded, and heavily overgrown, an ideal place for such legends to take root. Whether the brothers truly filmed a cryptid, a visual illusion, or simply crossed paths with someone at the wrong time, one fact remains: both the prints and the figure have never been explained. So what exactly did they witness that day? Could it have been proof of something humanity has yet to uncover? Or just a fleeting shadow lost among the trees? And the bigger question, if you stood in their place deep in the forest face to face with a figure like that, would you investigate or would you run? Bear has camped in countless locations across the wilderness, but there was one site he had avoided ever since his last encounter, a lonely stretch of forest where he once came across a strange freestanding staircase deep among the trees. This wasn't an ordinary woodland. Locals called it Murder Road, a name earned from its grim history. Over the years, several bodies had been discovered there, their cases never solved. The killer was never caught, and rumors of something sinister lurking within the trees persisted. Despite all of that, Bear decided to return, determined to face the place that had once terrified him.
It was creepy. I was hearing some sounds back there, ended up getting scared and not going any further. Super duper scary place though. Multiple bodies have been found here. I will leave a link in the description for the other videos that I've done here that have also been scary, crazy, creepy. You'll want to see them. Links in the description. I'm stinking nervous and excited about going back there because I haven't seen it since the live. I've been thinking about this place. I've thought about those steps, but tonight's the night that we go back to see them again. Anyway, only this ain't your ordinary woods. So like I said, the links to the other videos here will be in the description where you can hear more about the stories and the background of this place. But I will say there's been mob activity and multiple bodies and no killers ever caught. Oh my goodness, this feels so crazy. So far, I gotta say, this place has been truly terrifying for me. I'm not gonna...
As darkness fell, the mood shifted immediately. The forest grew heavy with silence, his flashlight barely strong enough to slice through the blackness. Every sound carried metallic clanks, faint whistles, and distant howls that seemed to echo closer with each step.
I just heard something. It sounded like metal. That sounded like metal. What was that? Did you guys hear that? That was like... I couldn't tell if that was a whistle or like a howl. Coming from in there. Could that have been an owl maybe? That was a weird owl. I've heard a lot of owls now. Oh my goodness, that shadow. I got myself freaking spooked, guys. Oh, I don't even want to do this no more. Oh man, I don't even want to do it no more. What is that? Some keeps making a noise right over to the right. That was like a... This place is so freaking creepy. Oh my god, I got goosebumps going through my whole freaking body right now. We just started. Again. Someone's making vocally type noises over there.
Eventually, he reached the stairs. They stood alone in the clearing, separated from any visible structure, weathered and out of place. Against his better judgment, he began to climb. At the top, there was nothing, only endless forest stretching ahead. Then something flickered between the trees. A light. Someone else was out there.
Crap. Oh, crap. Hold on. No. You gotta be freaking kidding me. Okay. Oh, no. No. Oh, crap, hold on. Dang it. Man, I'm like in a little ball on the ground behind some crap right now. What are they doing?
Bear quickly shut off his flashlight and crouched low, his heartbeat loud in his ears. A narrow beam swept through the trees, deliberate and methodical, as though searching for something or someone. Whoever held that light wasn't wandering aimlessly. The glow drew closer, footsteps crunching over the wet ground. Bear didn't move, barely breathing, until the beam swung dangerously close to his position. Panic surged. He broke into a run, crashing through the dark woods. Whether the stranger saw him or not, he couldn't tell. But the sense of danger was unmistakable, and the forest suddenly felt far more hostile than before. Abandoned staircases in remote forests have long been tied to eerie folklore, believed to mark cursed or violent ground. When paired with Murder Road's bloody history, it's easy to imagine why people think it attracts dark intentions. Still, one question lingers. What are those stairs doing there, standing untouched in a forest with such a grim past? And perhaps more chilling, who was that figure with the light moving silently through the trees that night? It was April 9th, 2025, when the YouTube channel Man Dog Wild released a new video. At first glance, It appeared to be just another of his regular outdoor adventures, an evening hike through the mountains with his loyal companion Yeti. The landscape was calm and breathtaking. Locals refer to this area as the Skinwalker Mountains, a region surrounded by eerie folklore, strange sightings, and countless stories of unexplained activity. The hike began peacefully, the air cool and clean as daylight faded. Yeti ran along the trail with her usual enthusiasm, but then her behavior suddenly changed. She slowed down, stopped, and stayed unusually close, as if guiding her owner towards something unseen.
Yeti. Yeti is either one of two things. She's a very simple dog. She's either completely unstable and constant zoomies, or she's very serious. And right now she's slowed down and she'll stop and she'll want me to follow her to take me somewhere or show me something. And at this point, now she's not going to stray too far from me because now she wants to show me something. We've just been out here exploring as we usually do around this time, you know, a little earlier than this. It's getting a bit dark now. And we've been on one of these abandoned roads that go to nowhere. They've just been left. Walking these dirt roads, and Yeti comes across this little trail. She slowed down and she wants to show me. See, she's right there. She's not running. She's not got the zoomies as she normally does. She's staying close by. She's scenting something.
Their route veered away from the main trail and onto a narrow, overgrown path that felt untouched for decades. The deeper they went, the heavier the silence grew. Then, hidden beneath the trees, they stumbled upon something disturbingly out of place.
Yeti was checking out this stuff. It looks like a... no idea. Wow. That's just scary, huh? Waiting.
In the middle of the path sat a small stroller half buried in weeds and soil. Inside was a doll, its face worn and cracked almost lifelike in the dim, fading light. The placement seemed deliberate. They were miles from homes, roads, or campsites. Whoever carried it here had done so on purpose. Nearby, carved deep into a large rock, was something even more unsettling.
Well, at least we're out that plantation now. What's that? What's this, sister? It's creepy, huh? What is that? So, this is where she leads us? That's super strange, huh? Like burnt into the rock? So obviously these mountains are strange places. Someone's come out here and made this. They've made this and I don't know what to make of this. What's your guys' thoughts on this? I have no idea. Maybe it's some kind of worshipping thing. Maybe it's just a sign. Maybe hunters, kind of marker. I don't know.
A dark, scorched symbol. It looked ritualistic, as though it had been burned into the stone by fire. Its meaning was impossible to understand, but its precision hinted at purpose. Was it a warning, a ritual sign, or something far more sinister? As they turned to leave, faint movement caught his attention on a distant ridge.
I'm not going the way of the plantation. That's just way too thick, so I'm figuring I'm gonna go around. I definitely saw lights. Caught a video also. I took a look. And I don't know, obviously, maybe we kind of did the same thing and we all turned our lights off and moved away. But when I turned around, I couldn't see the lights anymore. And yeah, they probably couldn't see mine. But the strange thing was, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the sound. It's a really high, kind of pitched sound, frequency, whatever. I think they call it a mosquito or something. And they use it to move people away from places they don't want them hanging out. So when I stopped, it had this ringing in my ears. It's horrible, really high pitched.
Small lights flickered briefly, shifting before vanishing when he switched off his flashlight. Seconds later, a piercing, high-pitched noise cut through the air, mechanical sharp and without any clear source. The sound resembled urban deterrent frequencies meant to drive people away. Yet out here, deep in untouched wilderness, it felt more like a warning meant for them. Throughout it all, Yeti remained strangely calm. The dog, normally alert to every sound, didn't bark or move. That stillness was somehow more disturbing than the noise itself. Taking a longer way back, he avoided retracing the same path. The lights didn't return. The ringing faded, and the symbol stayed unexplained. Some believe the stroller and symbol were signs of ritual activity hidden deep in the forest to avoid discovery. Others think the sound came from devices designed to scare trespassers. Together, the object's markings and sounds form something too deliberate to dismiss, as if someone wanted to create fear. Was it coincidence or evidence of something organized within the Skinwalker Mountains? And perhaps the most chilling question, did Yeti stay calm because she already knew exactly what was out there? Van life can feel freeing until the moment it turns terrifying. Dee had spent years living on the road in her self-built van, which she lovingly named Ladybug Out. But in October 2021, she uploaded a video describing the most frightening experience she had ever faced while traveling.
This is gonna be an awesome night. I'm here for a couple nights, heading up north again. It's cooler by the lake here. I'm in Oklahoma, and just wanted to show you guys what I get to enjoy for the next couple days.
It started like any normal day. She parked her van in Oklahoma, went for a short hike, and enjoyed the crisp open air. When she returned, the weather had shifted. The wind picked up, whistling through the trees as darkness crept in.
Out here, it's crazy windy. It said that the wind would pick up. It'll be a nice sleeping weather. I love when the wind is howling a little bit through the trees. Such a beautiful, beautiful sound. So while the wind is howling outside, I am snug as a bug in a rug in my little cabin on wheels. There's another camper right over there. It's a tent. They came in today. Can't believe that they are camping in this weather in a tent. I'm surprised that their tent is still up. Actually, I don't know if it's still up.
Other campers began setting up their tents despite the conditions, but Dee chose the safety of her van, unaware of the chaos about to unfold. Hours later, the calm night was broken by loud sirens. Her phone flashed with an emergency alert. A tornado warning had just been issued.
I don't know what to do. There's a tornado warning. So there was a severe thunderstorm warning, tornado warning issued just a minute ago. And so I am not sure what to do in this situation, actually. I thought that somebody would come around. The tent campers hightailed it out of here in the motorcycle. And so I am just going to go to a spot that I'm not so open because I'm very much in the open.
Disoriented and half asleep, she realized her van was parked out in the open with no real protection. Lightning split the sky as she jumped into the driver's seat, desperately searching for somewhere safe.
Here's the bathroom shelter. That might be my best bet if there is any more severe weather. So I am back here in the back. It's just raining lightly now. I drove over to where there's a concrete bathroom shelter in case sirens go off again. It's the only place that I saw that was remotely a shelter, but it seems like the worst of it has blown over, and so I feel like I'm safe. I'm just going to remain alert and awake tonight, check the weather every so often, but it seems like the front moves by pretty quickly. That's always the part where the tornadoes form, between where the cold and the warmer air is, right at the front, and that was when the sirens went off. I looked at the radar and it was right over us. So I think it was just to alert us that there could be possible tornadoes and to watch for them and to be awake. So this is something that I thought I'd show because I have talked about other situations of preparedness, and weather preparedness is something that I haven't covered, mainly because I try to stay out of weather like this. And I did. I checked the radar and it said that this front wasn't moving in until much later today. It's about 2:30 in the morning right now, and the weather alert was issued at 1 a.m., 12:55 or something like that. And yeah, that is something I was not counting on.
She drove until she found a solid structure, a concrete restroom building, and decided it was her best chance. There she waited in the darkness, watching the radar on her phone as the storm raged overhead. Rain hammered, the roof winds howled, and the threat of a tornado grew closer. Though the system eventually passed without hitting her directly, the experience left her shaken. Out on the road, shielded only by thin metal walls, nature's power can make anyone feel small. Later, Dee reflected that storms like the one she encountered often spawn tornadoes where warm and cold fronts collide. The sudden shift in weather that night likely created those exact conditions, catching her off guard even after checking the forecast earlier that day. For people who live full-time on the road, safety often depends on how prepared they are for the unpredictable. But here's the chilling thought. What if